thing. So, any other suggestions you would make on that sequence? And those were great suggestions on enhancing those three to five steps of cultivating the type of ads that you might run in Facebook.
So yeah, one of the other ads I would suggest running is an ad that takes people to Facebook Messenger. So it does. You do need to manage this a lot more because it's a bit more of a manual input. So it does take up management time, but it can be. I know a lot of businesses where this has been very successful and very effective for them. So you run an ad, you maybe promote a product. In fact, the person who I know had a very successful, this was an expedition they were advertising. People messaged them straight through Messenger. You would send them more details about it, give them a bit more information, getting their email, then send more information, and just keep the conversation going again within the Facebook app, albeit in the messaging app. He pretty much his expedition purely Messenger because he was able to engage with it. And then,
so you were talking about the direct Facebook Messenger's direct ad. If I got this correct, you're essentially using Facebook Messenger as your direct channel to engage people, send them more information, keep messages going, and you're engaging there. Is there a way to automate that process at all?
You can use bots within Facebook, but I would do that very, very. I'm personally not a fan of them. They're okay to get some initial details from someone, asking what's your name, what's your email address, that type of thing. And there are bots out there that try to answer as many questions as possible, but people can see this, they can see through it. If they feel, and I'm the opinion of this, is if you do not take the time to speak directly with your customers and try to use bots, then why would I want to book through you if you don't want to take the time to actually speak with me personally and for me to part with my money to take out one of your experiences? So I am like bots personally. So I would always engage with them directly. You'll have better chance of making the sale or getting them to sign up to something to hopefully make us later on. But the only who's really going to sell the experience are you and your guides or whoever it is it's on the end of the message or this phone or whatever that would be. So you really, I would say do it yourself. Never use a bot. Only use a bot for some basic information.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. And people want to engage with human beings, and you can use an autoresponder sequence more effectively in your email when you have some useful evergreen information once they're there. But that Q&A, that important Q&A that takes place pre-purchase, is critical. Let's shift to another topic and wrap up with this, because this is when you and I get talking about almost anything in tourism and marketing, we can go a long time. And hopefully this is educational, useful, and entertaining for everybody. One of the good points you made in some previous conversations we had was about, we've talked about the advertising, we've talked about some methods, and we've talked about some sequencing, but that a cool concept is that ad cost can radically different by destination. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so each destination, Facebook puts a value on each destination because they know how competitive it is in terms of particular markets and markets. So for example, running an ad in New York, for example, would be more expensive than Mexico or Cork or whatever that would be. No, I've actually got a guide of the top countries where you can, if I wouldn't advertise to these countries if you do not work through tours in these countries. A lot of people use this type of information because they just want to followers on Facebook and make them look good. In terms of numbers, I would have not doing that, because all you're going to do is dilute people who you really want to be able to purchase your product. But if you work in Mexico, if you work in Peru, if you work in these other places, you can literally ads for cents each time someone clicks. It costs a couple of cents rather than $2, $3, $4, $5, $10 competitive your
wow.
Your is. So you can really, if you're in those countries, Brazil, for example, if you're in those countries and you're tours, you can run an ad for $5 a day and get a shed load of clicks and reach from it.
Now, just to clarify that, if and we'll use my brother's company again. We are in Mexico. We're operating in Mexico, but our clientele is outside the United States. So that really, even though we're operating in Mexico, that really wouldn't pertain to us because we're advertising to our target market, which is somewhere else. Is that correct?
Yeah. So those of ads would work best if most of your business comes from in destination. So if you're running a bus company or a bike company, and you're in Brazil or Mexico or something, and most of you come from someone who's just arrived in that destination or who's in the destination and they book there, and then that's when these ads are the most effective.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, because this particular that my brother's example is not a good one for that because these are longer trips. But yeah, it totally makes sense if people are making more. If let's say you're doing a day tour or just looking at or a lodge or where there's a short stay. Yeah, people are making spontaneous decisions. Well, that is great. Well, Chris, I think we've covered some really good stuff today on Facebook advertising and some methodology. Did you mention that you had a guidebook or something about the places where you can advertise cheaply? Did I get that correctly?
Yes. I'll give you a couple of etc. to download. So it's just a PDF list of countries that are the sort of cheap countries that you can advertise on Facebook. So if those destinations and you want to target, for example, you mentioned bike tours. If you want to get people in Mexico who are in bikes, you maybe want to target people who have, as you know yourself, when anyone flies into a destination, they book that they're at the airport to Mexico, for example, and then once they land in that destination, because of the GPS and everything else, ads could get served. So.
Perfect. No, that sounds great. So folks, go to travelbusinesssuccess.com/ whatever the name of the show will be. But look for Facebook advertising, Facebook tourism advertising, or something like that, and you'll find this episode. And we'll make that available. Chris's PDA available through a link. As always, sir, a pleasure. Just a quick shout out again. Look for Chris's upcoming book, Turning Lookers into Bookers. Did I get that correct? Soon, and it's going to give you guys all kinds of tactics and tools and case studies and that'll help you expand your reach to be a trusted brand and to use the online tools. What a blessing that these are available to us now, because when I started, none of this was available. It was, but it is now. And if you utilize what Chris just shared, you will be way ahead of the average tourism professional. So Chris, sir, thank you much. Always a pleasure.